Que los cocodrilos no han comido todavía.
Los cocodrilos sí también. Jeremy, siéntate que ya está cortado ya. Cuida a tu hermana. Oh.
No puedes.
No puedes. Ya te cortaron.
¿Eso se cae fácil?
Please stay clear of the closing doors. Go ahead and have a seat for me, Wildlife Explorer, so we can head out on our way. That means pictures need to have a seat for me so we can head out. Thank you. Welcome on board the Wild Asian Monorail. For your safety, please do remain seated at all times with your hands, faces, cameras, and children inside the car at all times. And please remember, no eating, drinking, or smoking during our journey. Are you guys ready to take a ride on the wild side? That was pretty tame. I'm pretty sure there are people on here celebrating birthdays. Can we give them a little more enthusiasm? My name is Grace. I'm going to be your monorail driver and tour guide today. I'm going to take you on a wildlife tour of Asia. We're going to see animals from China, India, Cambodia, Pakistan, and without ever leaving the Bronx. So we begin by crossing over the beautiful Bronx River, a natural habitat for ducks, turtles, fish, and migrating birds. Now as we come into our first meadow, we're prepared to be shocked, astounded, and amazed by the sight of absolutely nothing. Unfortunately, all the deer and antelope in this meadow have gone over the hill on the far left-hand side. We will catch up with them in another 8 or 9 minutes, but you can see some of the national bird of India here, the peafowl. The males are called peacocks, the females are called peahens. You see a lot of feathers more than any birds right now. The males are losing their back feathers because it's the end of the mating season. That means they no longer need those colorful feathers to impress the ladies. That means it's time to start looking out for pea chicks on your next trip to the zoo. Those adorable balls of fluff are what we call pea chicks, or peafowl babies. They're so small they could fit in the palm of your hand. Now coming up on your right, we're about to pass 2 replica husks. They represent an important conservation story. So let's have a listen.
In 1970, there were estimated to be only 66 of the Barasingha deer remaining in central India. But this population was saved by the cooperation of the local Indian community. Like the shacks you see here, there were many small farms using space in and around India's Kanha National Park. These people were coming into contact with the deer and the tigers that were also living there. Through cooperation with the Indian government, local communities agreed to relocate their villages. By moving, the farmers still had land to farm, but the tigers and their prey got more room to roam.
Now we all know that when a species is extinct, it no longer exists, like the dinosaurs. And the horses that we're going to see next were also extinct in nature, but they survived in captivity, so we're about to get a great look at our Mongolian wild horses. Now they're being tricky. Sometimes they like to walk along the fence and pretend they are also the monorail, so they're really directly under us right now as we enter. But we'll see the rest of the herd coming up on the right. Please do remain seated throughout the entire tour. Thank you. Well, the rest of the herd is coming up on the right. You'll see them back amongst the trees.
Right there.
This species is the only true species of wild horse alive today. You'll notice they look a little different than traditional domestic horses. These wild horses have shorter legs, a stockier build, and that erect mane that sort of resembles a mohawk haircut, the height of style. Now, captive breeding of Mongolian wild horses started with a group of only 28 animals, way way back in 1901. Here at the Bronx Zoo, we got our first wild horses in 1902, and we've maintained our herd since way back then. That means the horses you see here today could be descendants of that 1902 herd, giving them over 100 years of history. But of course, the actual history of the Mongolian wild horses dates back much farther than that. So as we head up the hill through the rest of their pasture, let's learn a little bit more.
The first accounts of Mongolian wild horses come from rock engravings, paintings, and even cave drawings that date back more than 20,000 years. And the first written accounts were from Tibet, sometime around 900 AD. But these horses remained largely unknown and unnamed to the Western world for many years. During an expedition to Central Asia in 1879, a famous Russian explorer and naturalist, Colonel Nikolai Przewalski, encountered the horse in western Mongolia. Because of his discovery, this species is also known as Przewalski's horse.
Now, sometimes it can be hard to spot animals even here at the zoo, so I'm going to act as your guide today, pointing out the animals as best as I am able, and you're in luck because I am totally a pro. But if you'd like to challenge yourself, especially all you monorail veterans on board, see if you can find the animals before I point them out to you. In this meadow, we're looking for two endangered species, the brown-antlered deer and the gaur. Oh, good work, wildlife explorers. I think we've got some sharp ones on board today. You turn your eyes to the right along the very back fence. You're going to start to see some tan silhouettes. Those are the brown-antlered deer. Good work. Brown-antlered deer get their name from the curved shape of the male deer's antlers, which resembles a human eyebrow. So you don't see any antlers back here because our herd is all female. Now, coming up on the far right, you're going to start to see some dark brown cattle still along that back line, but as far to the right as you can go. These are the gaur, the largest wild cattle in the world. Those males stand 6 foot tall at the shoulder, 10 feet long. Kids, that puts all your dads to shame. Those males can weigh as much as 2,000 pounds. That's basically a small car, but with horns. Every herd needs an alpha male, the strongest and largest of the bunch. Ours is the darkest one standing along the tree there. His name is Eddie. That's right, Eddie Gaur. Our zookeepers have an incredible sense of humor. He came here as part of something called the Species Survival Plan. That's the way we try and help endangered species increase their numbers in the wild so they don't become extinct. Here's how it works.
Here at the zoo, we help gaur and brown-antlered deer and many other species by participating in cooperative zoo management programs called Species Survival Plans. The name says it all. The plans aim to help these animals survive. Zoos across the country work together to maintain genetically diverse populations of rare and endangered species.
Now, as we come into this next meadow, please do remain seated, but keep your eyes peeled. We are on the lookout for a Siberian tiger.
Tigre.
Tigers are notoriously hard to find. They have stripes that give them excellent camouflage abilities. But our tiger is going to be in an incredible spot today. We are going to be so lucky. Coming up on the right, you're going to see orange stripes through the brush, and then as we come around the curve, you're going to have an amazing view of the cheetah. Our oldest Siberian tiger, he's just stepping out of the pond right now. You see him headed just in front of the pond. He's hanging out right there. He's head forward along the pond there. Again, this is the cheetah. He weighs nearly 400 pounds. There he goes along the stream there. You guys are looking to the right from the last couple of train cars. You can see him padding down. He's probably going to come down the hill to the keeper's gate. Our animals know when it's the end of the day, and they're always looking for a little attention, trying to go home just like you guys are. The stripes on Bachuda's back are unique to Bachuda and Bachuda alone. Every tiger has stripes that are as individual as human fingerprints. Our researchers in the wild use a special camera to photograph those stripes, allowing them to get a more accurate count of how many tigers remain in the wild. They believe there are as few as 3,000 left, with only 1,000 of those being different females. Now we are coming around the back of the gaur, so we're going to slow down a bit and take them in full effect as they cluster down the hill here. The males have the horns that point straight upwards. The females curve slightly inward. As you come past the gallery, we're coming around to the back of our first spotted deer. These are the axis deer. Unlike most deer species who lose their spots as they get older, the axis deer are lucky to keep their spots for their entire life. Now, if you look to the middle of the meadow, closer to the back, you're going to see some of our black-buck antelope as well. They are the tan animals with white bellies. No spots on them. They're smaller than the axis deer. Black-buck antelope are found throughout India and also in parts of Pakistan and Nepal. The males have a dark chocolatey brown coat and those beautiful spiraling horns. The females stay that tan color and remain a bit smaller than the gentlemen. You can see our peafowl collected here as well. Again, the males are called peacocks and the females are called peahens. Now use your imagination for a moment. Think of a pig. Now paint him gray, straighten out his tail, and add tusks curving out of the top of his snout and pointing back towards his eyes. That's what we're looking for next, a special type of pig called a babarusa. When you reach the bamboo shoots, look through them to the middle of the meadow. You're going to see our female babarusa, Jillian. She's headed towards the back of the meadow. She's going to duck behind those rocks and probably come back through them. So look towards the exhibit near the water as you progress forward. Our male, Hickory, is coming towards the water as well on the right-hand side of his meadow. Babarusas are found on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi, and their name means pig deer in the Malay language, referring to the tusks that the males have. Again, for those of you just reaching the babarusas, the water, that's usually the place that hang out most often. They sometimes resemble rocks, as they have so little hair on their body. Skin so matches So when we come to our next meadow, you might be a little puzzled. Why on earth is there this gigantic swimming pool here? Well, it's not for your zookeepers or tour guides. It's actually for our Asian elephants, Patty and Maxine. And they're coming up on the right. We're about to get an amazing close-up view of our Asian elephant. Well, Maxine's even stepping up to the fence to say hello. Maxine is closest to us. Her best friend Patty is just behind her. These lovely ladies are in their 40s and weigh in at over 10,000 pounds apiece. So Maxine is on the right, Patty on the left. They have 40,000 muscles in their trunk with a finger-like feature on the end they use to pick up small items. It's a very versatile tool. Now as we come forward, we're about to see our Indian rhinoceros Penny down the hill to say hello to us. It may look as though her skin like armor, but in fact the rhino has one thin layer of skin that's folded over several times. That's why she looks so wrinkly. Now she is padding down the hill to say hello, but please do remain seated. She's coming right underneath the train right now. She's directly underneath those of you who are just entering. But again, remain seated. She will turn around if we remain seated, and she'll head back up the hill. There she goes. So look directly below you as you enter. You'll see her heading up the hill there. Look over to your over your shoulder to the left if you've already come through. Penny is sweet 16 years old. She's one of 7 endangered rhinos we care for here at the Bronx Zoo. Fewer than 2,000 Indian rhinos remain throughout India and Nepal. Today, all rhinos are highly endangered. And one of the reasons why they're so endangered is because their horn is considered so valuable, not only to the animal itself, but also to poachers. Here's some info on what sets that horn apart from others.
The horn of a rhinoceros is very different from that of a goat or antelope. It is not attached to the skull. Rhino horn is made from compressed keratin fibers, the same material that is found in fingernails and hair. Although rhinos are a protected species, poaching still occurs. Rhinos are killed for their body parts, but some people believe that this horn has special medicinal powers.
It is also used as an ingredient in some traditional Asian medicines. And the rhino horn is also prized in some cultures for making dagger handles. Now, Asia is the continent with the largest number of deer species. It's well known for its deer diversity. So as we come in for our next meadow, we're looking out for a variety of deer who love to hang out together. As you enter, you're going to see one of our hog deer in the middle of the grass there. The rest of the herd coming up on the right. They're very small deer, but they're not actually babies. You can see one of the babies sitting down while the rest of the herd stands up. The largest, darker ones there, that's as big as these hog deer get. They get their name because they're short and stout like hogs. Pretty simple business. Coming past the hog deer, you're about to see two equally small deer, but they have a darker coat, reddish-brown. These are the Indian muntjacs, and again, they're fully grown. They're not babies. That's as big as they get. Now, the orange deer with the white spots sitting together along the fallen tree, these are our Formosan Sika deer. They're native to the island of Taiwan, but haven't been seen in the wild since the early 1970s. We have one of the largest herds in the world right here at the Bronx Zoo. Now, coming up on the hill, we're about to see the largest of the southern Asian deer species, the sambar deer. Those males can weigh up to 650 pounds. Their antlers can grow to be 3 feet tall, with as many as 3 points on each bar. As we come past them, keep your eyes on the fence line in front of you. You will see the rest of our hog deer. They love to sit rumpled on the fence line here throughout the day, keeping cool and relaxing in the shade. Our animals do have a lot of room to roam back here in Wild Asia. Over 40 acres of land set aside for the Wild Asia monorail. Been around since Wild Asia opened in 1977. As we come into our next meadow, we're going to be on the lookout for very small and shy deer species called China's tufted deer. They usually hide away in the shade throughout the day, but we're lucky. It's cool enough now. They've come out to say hello, so we're going to take it real slow to take in these deer because you usually don't get to see them. Coming up along the back fence, you're going to see the first of our tufted deer. They weigh about 40 pounds on average. They're very small, very dark in coloration, which means they love to hide along the back rocks there. Coming up down along the fence line to your right, those in the first row, maybe we'll see one just below you as you come past. We're just passing our first trace. There's another sitting up on the hillside here, just at eye level as you go forward. So these aren't babies, they actually are fully grown at about 40 pounds. We do have a tufted deer baby tucked somewhere in this exhibit, but she loves to hide in the back. She's brand new and incredibly tiny. These beautiful little deer are very rare in zoos outside of China, so we're lucky to have them here with us at the Bronx Zoo. At this point, we are reaching the highest point of our tour as we cross back over the beautiful Bronx River at 35 feet above the water. Look across the way, you'll see another monorail train beginning its journey, sending us some camera signals as we go. Now, the rocky terrain in our next environment is the perfect area for the Himalayan tar, a relative of the wild goat. You look down to the right, you see the whole herd clustered together at the bottom of the hill. Another of our Himalayan tar standing up on the rocks as you come around the curve, and a couple more in the middle. Our whole herd is actually pretty spread out right now. The Himalayan tar are well adapted to life in the rugged woodlands and mountain areas of the Himalayas because they have a special rubber core in their hooves that allows them to grip the rock, much like the sole of a mountain boot does for us. The tar have these beautiful curving horns you see. They curve backwards and then inwards in a triangular shape to prevent serious injuries from happening during the vicious head-butting battles that take place throughout their mating season. The tar can be very aggressive when trying to impress each other. Now we're about to reached the final exhibit of our tour. We're going to slow way down to take in our red panda.
En el árbol, un lemur, mira. Patru, arriba, arriba.
Está sentada arriba.
Un lemur.
V-shaped trees.
Allá, mira, allá.
Up to the right, into the leafy trees.
Allá,
Of red fur is Walter, our red panda. So he goes readjusting, so he's evening that. His paw dangling down there alongside his straight tail.
Está durmiendo.
Mira. Patru, acá arriba. Patru, ¿ves?
They're most active at dawn and dusk. People have long been fascinated by the color of the red panda's fur. In Nepal, the red panda is sometimes called Hun Ho, which, roughly translated, means fire fox. People often ask why the red panda looks so different from the black and white giant panda, and that's because the two species aren't actually that closely related. They just share the same specialized diet of bamboo. Instead, the red panda is more closely related to skunks, raccoons, and deer. And that, Wildlife Explorers, is going to bring us towards the end of our journey. As we finish up here, I'd like to take a moment to tell you a bit more about us here at the Wildlife Conservation Society. We're working to save wildlife and wild places all around the world. We've got scientists in the field at more than 300 sites in over 50 countries. So if you love taking care of your pets and are considering a future in working with animals, be sure to keep the Wildlife Conservation Society in mind. We can also manage 5 parks throughout New York City, not only the Bronx Zoo, but also the Central Park Zoo, the Queens Zoo, Prospect Park Zoo, and the New York Aquarium at Coney Island.
That's it?
Yes.
Yes.
Now we are going to pause in just one moment. We're going to stop the train to allow the train in front of us to load up with passengers and head out on its way. So please do remain seated. We will be rolling forward shortly as soon as the train in front of us is ready to go.
Mira, un panda. Un perezoso.
Now it is past 4:30, which means exhibits here at the zoo are closed. The animals go inside half an hour before the zoo closes.
¿Te gustó?
You will still have access once you leave the monorail to the Dora 4D Theater and the Bug Carousel. So please do remain seated. We will be pulling forward in just a few minutes, or moments actually, as the train in front of us is now leaving the platform. So take a moment and make sure you have all of your belongings gathered together. If you had photographs with you when you